What made you actually decide to expand Hide from the Light into a deluxe release rather than moving straight into something new?
Well, yeah, it was always meant to be an album. Well, that's what we always wanted it to be. And just when we were initially recording and writing it and stuff, we had a couple of more softer songs, I'd say, on there. We were just thinking about it and we were like, why don't we just kind of cut these softer songs out and then it's going to be just a really heavy project from start to finish, rather than trying to fit in, I guess, softer songs that don't really make sense considering that like the rest of the EP is so heavy, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but we always did want it to be an album. Like I think when I initially came up with the title and came up with the first song, I was like, this is going to be like the EP, or in my mind, that I wanted to be like a big one for us, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, always wanted it to be our debut album and stuff, but it's just, it just didn't work out that way.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, we kind of like looked back on it, and we had like some songs sitting there that we hadn't finished, and we're like, why don't we just finally do that, make it into basically an album and add these other somehow even heavier songs on there. And yeah, here we are. So like I always wanted to do vinyl, for example. We've never done vinyl before, and I really wanted this to be the project that we did vinyl for. So it kind of just all worked out.
I can hear the relief in your voice that you're very much ready for tomorrow to drop. That's
Sure.
pretty great, though. It would have been a long time coming, and it can add a lot to your personal life as well. So yeah, I'm really happy for you guys. I'm really keen to hear it as well. So, which track from the release feels like the most personal to you?
Well, they're all really personal, to be honest. I'd say my favorite would probably be No Home Left to Find because it just it's meant to be like the song that wraps up the entire theme of the whole, project, like the concept. It's like, I guess obviously being that the initial concept of the EP was, about hiding from the light and in turn you'll suffer in the dark. Like these three songs are meant to be like conceptually about what happens after suffering in the dark, and I think with that concept, that's how the songs just ended up as heavy as they are because it's meant to be what does that feel like? What does that look like? And I guess lyrically in saying that, the songs are very personal for me because it's like literally about that. And yeah, so it's hard to really pick one because each one of them kind of goes through or talks about something that I've had to deal with like in my personal life. But yeah, I think just in terms of overall song and songwriting and everything, I'd say No One Left to Find is probably my favorite, and Death of a Shadow, probably a close second, but Four Walls is a song that's like really grown on me a lot. So again, it's just so hard to pick.
I can fully relate to that because you pour everything, all your emotions, your personal life into it as well. Have you already started working on some new material beyond this? And is it feeling like a continuation of this era, or is it looking like the beginning of a new one?
Um, that's a hard one, hey. A bit of both. I think we've always kind of, whenever we do new music, the music that follows it kind of builds on that and adds new elements. I think we've kind of consistently done that with every release, looking back on it now. And yeah, so like there's definitely a lot of new elements that we're incorporating into new stuff without, I guess, giving anything away, you know. Yeah, so still just want to keep it heavy end of the day. You know what I mean? Always going to be a heavy band, and I don't think we'll, not even don't think, like we will never deviate from that, you know? So
Yeah. So it seems like your style will continue on as more heavy than anything, but the journey itself will change within the lyrics and things like that as well. So that'll be really interesting to see over time, actually, how that forms.
it's something I've thought about a lot actually, because like, yeah, I've been being in this band for like 5 years now coming up.
Yeah.
I hope the lyrical content changes because I don't want to be writing about the same stuff when I'm 35. You know what I
That's
mean?
fair.
So I hope I'm doing all right by then, So yeah.
Yeah, well done. Like, especially since, signing with Grayscale Records and everything like that. And you've only formed since 2021, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
flown by, absolutely flown by. My next question was, do you approach vocals more from a technical mindset or emotional one? But it definitely feels like it's coming more from an emotional side.
Yeah, definitely emotional. I'm definitely not like the most technical vocalist ever or by any means, you know. It's something I need to get better at, to be honest. Like, you know, have a bit more versatility in what I do. It's something I'm definitely wanting to work towards. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm always way more focused on the delivery of the vocals, and I feel like the way I look at it is like if you're saying something that's like, I guess, a really heavy sentence or, you know, theme or whatever it is, you should convey that, you know, and it should like people should who are listening to it like feel what you're saying, you know, it shouldn't just feel like you're just like screaming whatever, you know, that's just how I like to approach it, you know, so I really try to like feel like what I'm saying when we record, you know, if that makes sense. And yeah,
Yeah.
so
Absolutely. No, I definitely feel like even in the style of heavy music that I love, I definitely like to feel the emotion more than anything. Music, of course, is important too, but being able to connect with you as a band, hear your story, get to know you on a personal level, just even through the music, I think many would probably agree. So it's a good mindset to have around it. So is there obviously a lot I see that might be you express in your music that you can't really express in normal conversation.
yeah, I think if I expressed a lot of what I talk about in the music in normal conversation, it'd probably be a bit weird. You know what I mean? Might be a little bit off-putting, to be honest. I
Yeah.
think I probably seem a bit like crazy, to be honest, you know, so it's maybe not, I don't know, maybe I'm just I guess being judgmental of myself, but um yeah, it's really nice to have like an outlet like this to just kind of, you know, wear it all on my sleeve, so to speak, and just let it all out, you know, because I honestly don't know where I'd be without having something like this. And like yeah, a lot of like the songs for me, even like the really like more personal ones, like over the years, you know, when we would initially have written them, like a song like A Different Kind of Alone, for example, like it was hard for me to even do that kind of song at practice.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like second nature. So I look at that and it's like almost like exposure therapy to whatever the song's about. So it's been like therapeutic, you know, in a way. So I'm really grateful to be able to have that one for like myself, and then two, to be able to see people really resonate with songs like that. Like
Mm.
that's the creative thing to me and like means so much to me because like I was saying before, like when it gets to a point for me with those hard songs that it's like second nature and I don't really think about it as much. To see that that then becomes something else to someone else is like that's bigger than me, you know? So like that's just amazing that I've even got to be able to experience that or even talk about that, you know?
Yeah.
So
It's every artist's goal to be able to connect with people and get them to feel something through your music that, you know, you may have felt alone in. Being a vocalist myself, I very much understand where you're coming from there. Yeah, it's a really
yeah.
nice feeling. Do you get a lot of people singing back to you any of the songs and emotions hit while you're on stage? How do you find you can control that?
Yeah, yeah, like there's definitely times where yeah, like you kind of again, because sometimes it's just second nature, or most of the time it's second nature. And you get these moments where like it kind of hits you out of nowhere in ways you wouldn't expect. Like we played our song Shadows Follow on our headliner for Hard Drum the Light in Brisbane only. And that was the first time we played that song in a very long time. And yeah, it's a very emotional song for me, like a very big emotional song for me. And yeah, I didn't expect it at all, but like yeah, when I introduced the song, like I got a little bit emotional. And yeah, it was real weird feeling, you know, because again, like I said, you know, I didn't expect it at all. But yeah, it just reminds you that it is real, and having people that come to the shows and like are so stoked to have seen that song live, just for example, it
Yeah.
makes it all worth it, you know, because like it can be quite, I guess, grueling or scary to like, you know, talk about some of the things I guess we talk about on these songs, and then not knowing like how people might receive that and like putting that part of you out into the world is, you know, very confronting, you know. So to see it be worth it and mean something to someone else, like that's yeah, it makes it like super worth it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely I feel resonates very well. Um I think that being able to connect with people on that emotional level is everything. But in the same way, in saying that, being able to sing something so personal and close to you, how that might feel like all eyes are on you, you're very perceived, very seen, it can be very vulnerable. So, yeah, I very much connect with you on that. Was there a moment throughout all of this that you felt like Dissect was gaining real momentum through it all, and how did that impact you?
Yeah, I think like the last year was probably like the craziest year we've had as a band, to be honest. There was so many things that happened where it was just like so full on, and it was all since I guess we signed to Grayscale and then went on the tour with Throne, and then started dropping these songs. Like we dropped Too Many Scars right before that tour, and then went into like I guess the release cycle of this. And yeah, I think when all like the interviews were happening last year, and like we went on the Make Them Suffer tour, and like we had all these people posting all this like really nice stuff, it really felt like it was the first like project we've ever done that really kind of seemed to land the most.
Yeah.
The entire time we were working on it, we really wanted this to be like the project, from us, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
yeah, in a lot of ways, it kind of felt like it did what we wanted it to do, which was like
Yeah.
really fulfilling. It felt like it kind of, I guess, like leveled us up in a way. And yeah, like it kind of did all those things we were really hoping it would do. Like, we're going to Europe on Sunday, which is insane to even talk about,
Yeah.
even that, like when we started the band, I remember like saying to one of my friends, like, yeah, if we got to go to Europe one day on tour, like that's my dreams come true. And that's crazy to even reflect on because the goalpost always moves, and now it's whatever it is now, whatever that dream is. But yeah, like that used to be my ultimate dream, and we're going to do that on Sunday. So that feels weird and amazing to say. So yeah, I just yeah, I'm really grateful for the response that this EP has had. So,
Yeah, I can definitely see even now how come to life it's actually been for you. So on Sunday, you being able to get to do something that was one of your biggest goals is so huge. Yeah, well done. Honestly, and have the best time. It will be so sick. I think we're all kind of keen to see all the photos and everything that comes of that, but enjoy yourself while you're there. It sounds like you really deserve it as well.
thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm honestly so scared, to be honest. Like, it's gonna be so cold and all these things. And yeah, so yeah,
Yeah,
thoughts and, but yeah,
yeah,
no, thank you.
definitely.
That means a lot. So,
No, that's okay. Getting the chance to talk to you today, I'd love to be able to go back and tell a lot of the bands. So, what advice would you give the upcoming bands in Brisbane trying to build something real in today's scene?
yeah, damn. I think um like staying consistent, like regardless of what's going on, like it can be really hard, with personal life stuff. But I think looking back when we started the band and getting to where we're at now or whatever, no matter what, like I had this kind of, at least me talking personally, like I always had this real tunnel vision, like regardless of what's going on, like the band is like the most important thing for better or worse. I'm starting to, I guess, like get better at that now because that's obviously not necessarily true, but I think like putting everything you have into it and like realizing that like no one's gonna get you there. Like you gotta like put yourself out there, make the most real music possible, and make sure it's real to you and it's music you like. I think that's the most important thing because I think every band maybe goes through this, but you start sounding a certain way with obviously all the influences you have, and then over time you develop your own kind of sound and your own take on that.
Yeah,
And I think get to that point quicker by just being real about the music you actually want to make and the music you like, rather than being like, we need to sound like this or we need to sound like this because someone said we did, or this song we did worked really well. And, now we're stuck doing that sound. I hear about a lot of bands getting caught up in that
yeah,
and we use it as well. And I think going back to like even like the EP, like How Dim the Light, we were like the main kind of, I guess, ethos or whatever with it was that we're just like, fuck it, let's just have fun and do what we want to do. And it's been the most like successful like EP we've ever done, and I think that kind of speaks for itself, right? It's like just I guess to sum all that up is just do the music you want to make and stay true to what you want to make and just go hard as possible and just don't stop, just never stop.
That resilience, consistency, but then along the way, just trying to remind yourself of other things that might be important. Yeah, that's really great. I love that answer. So, do you think photography plays a major role in how fans emotionally connect with the band before they even hear your music?
I think so. I'm like a very visual person, and I think like it's really important how a band looks on stage. For example, I think you should, when you get on stage, you shouldn't look like a bunch of people that just hops off the street. You know what I mean? Like you should look like whatever it is that your project is, and you should look like a band, like not like just a bunch of randoms, right? And I think with photography and like videography and visuals in general, I think that's honestly one of the most important parts because it builds the world that your band lives in without sounding crazy. And
Yeah.
yeah, like, if you see like a really well like executed photo or visual or whatever it is that has intention behind it and that's shown to the right person, like it creates like that interest, right? So yeah, I definitely would say that it's important because of like everything I just said. It's like, there's been bands that I've checked out purely because I've seen like how they look and I'm like, what's going on here? Like this looks like it might like they dress like me or like are doing a certain aesthetic that I really like or whatever it is. And that's before even hearing anything. So I 100% think visuals and photography and world building is just so important.
Yeah, I do find that myself. I often come across bands and there'll be just one reel or a really great image where the photographer just hit the right spot and it just really portrays the emotion of the band when you click on and go through it all. So I didn't
So
really have any other questions. It was just really great to actually get a chance to talk to you, being in the scene a lot myself, getting to connect with you, hear the emotional side, very much resonating with everything you've said. So yeah, I really appreciate you coming on and having a chat with me.
no, like thank you. Like I really appreciate you even wanting to, talk to me or us and it
Yeah.
means a lot, and getting the opportunity to even, talk about this kind of stuff without sounding like I'm blowing smoke,
Yeah.
it's cool, So because there's obviously a lot of thought that goes into it and yeah, just getting an opportunity to let that all out is great. So thank you.